Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene will take place as the patrons of the Agrabah Knights are just about to enter into our fine establishment to enjoy another meal, an evening of frivolity, socializing, and all that good jazz. However, they are stopped when a car when you hear a as a car backfires and then proceeds to sputter nearly instantly to life. As across the road from you, you will see what looks to be an incredibly valuable car. You would guess some kind of Mercedes or Lamborghini smash clean into a light pole. Debris flies everywhere.
This is the second time shit like this has happened.
Well, someone should call IXII.
Stumbling backwards out of the car, you see this individual.
I'm a right-click said individual because I don't recognize them.
Okay. Okay, well, hang on. Winray, what level is your mind shield?
I'm still working on my mind shield route.
I'm doing the same thing.
My first roll was a failure, but...
Hi, Winray. For every dice you rolled in the Arete attempt, which in your case is 3.
Yeah.
Yep, you're going to take a point of bashing damage to your head.
Even on a failure?
Oh, no, not on a failure, because you didn't generate the effect. Continue.
Right. I'm still generating the effect. First round, the first roll was a failure.
Evan, how hurt does she look?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, as she steps out of the car, you'll hear her swear. Like, you assume she's swearing. She's speaking very, very quickly, and it sounds to be Italian, and she boots the left driver's side mirror so hard it comes off.
Yeah, Jewel's just going to take her phone out and call for emergency assistance.
That will, that's not going to be strictly necessary, you understand me? I don't know your name, I will be with you momentarily. Technically speaking, not my car, but that's neither here nor there.
Speaking of which, not only right-clicking her, but right-clicking the license plate.
Okay. That's fine. Did you roll to generate the effect? I'm
about to do so.
I'm asking Austin.
I apologize.
All right, so my mind shield is a 2 success mind shield for the day. And then my right click is what is the base number of successes needed to kick it off?
Needs to kick it off. The base number of successes is right click is 2, so 2.
Okay.
Oh, 1 second, then I'm not more roll to make.
Wait, what was the shit? Right click. You just said it. I apologize.
So I've got 2 to kick it off, 3 into effect, and I have a 2 into right click, and 2 success mind shield for the day.
Cool. You will take 1 point of unsoakable bashing damage to the head. Literally, it's like BAM! Ow! It feels like somebody tasered your brain.
I've been there.
What was the diff? Sorry.
The diff for the effect, or
yes, for right click. Sorry.
For right click, standard difficulty, which would be 3 plus 2, which is 3 plus 2, which is 5, minus your foci or custom foci.
Okay, so that drops it to 3. Okay.
Hey, it's entirely not my fault, you understand. However, you people drive so slowly and on the wrong side of the road. What was a girl to do?
Blink, blink, blink.
Oh, and for the record, if you want to know who I am, you can ask me or buy me a drink first. Honestly, people these days.
Just checking the car also.
Once again, if you check her for every point of arete, 1 point of bashing to the skull.
Ow,
I have a mind shield.
But how much effect is in your mind shield?
10.
Excellent. That'll pop off that mind shield.
So essentially, the effect doesn't work, but I don't take any damage.
Well, no, the effect. There's nothing really on her on the web, in the sense that as you to the point that as you try to analyze, there's no facial recognition. There's nothing. She doesn't exist.
She a ghost.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. The car, though? Anything on that?
Oh, the car is registered to a Mr. Elrin Simmons of 332 Rathholm Way.
Huh. Okay, he'll file that away.
It's interesting to meet you all. Needless to say, insurance companies can become involved in this. They're not my insurance companies, but I'm sure they can become involved in this.
Alec will chuckle.
He'll shrug. Not my car, not my problem.
So what you're saying is not your circus, not your monkeys, eh?
Exactly.
Essentially.
I like him. He understands the shit. Where are my manners? Rather terrible, I should think, but niente. C'est la vie, I suppose. Dr. Ilana Tavensi, Society of Ether.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Alec Gardner.
If you guys want to roll intelligence mage lore on her, you can.
Will do.
Okay.
Difficulty?
1 second.
Is the difficulty on that mage lore?
Standard difficulty.
Ooh, that makes
It's quite
it
famous.
Scholarly come in?
Yes, scholarly will come in.
Yeah,
Oops.
suddenly
I gotta
turned
pull up
into
Discord.
Highlander.
I mean, gosh, many penny.
That's not Highlander.
So I got 5 successes.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 here also.
Okay.
1 second. I got a Discord's being up, punk.
Discord ain't gonna take any shit.
No successes for the Heather.
Okay, there we go. Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
Wow. Well, that kind of sucks. I only got 1 success.
She's an etherite. She's well known for something, but you can't exactly remember what. For those of you with 5 successes, Dr. Trevese is the foremost etherite in Europe, possibly the Northern Hemisphere, as it pertains temporal mechanics. Time. She's written many papers and is a great theoretician as to the nature of time in the universe.
Ooh.
And
That was
what brings
Ilana Tavensi.
Tavensi.
Great.
Dr. Tavensi. If you understand what doctor means in the etherite term, I assume you do.
Can make good guess.
Their master equivalent is a doctor. Actually, also their equivalent for anything above a master, but you've got no idea how powerful Tavensi is, only that she's well known for her use of time. And she's also an amazingly good theoretician on the nature of time in the universe.
Ooh. Swanky.
Oh, we both got 5 successes. I had another point written if anyone got 4 or above. She's also batshit.
Lovely. There's going to be that look exchanged with Wingwave.
As in, she is so high on the technocracy's most wanted list. She goes herself. No one knows where she is at any given time. Burn her cell phones. The technocrats would probably pay you your weight in, premium or whatever the fuck you wanted for her head on a plate.
Oh, damn.
Our kind of people.
Well, she is one of the foremost experts in the traditions on the Tellurian and on the nature of the consensus.
Gotcha.
Might we want to step inside before this draws too much attention?
I mean, in my defense, I could say I'm drunk, but c'est la vie, yes, that seems like a good idea. Once again,
I'll actually
sorry.
hold the door open for her.
She will walk in, she'll take off her top hat, she will say, well, you all know my names, but I don't know yours.
I think I did mention, I'm Alec Gardner.
It's nice to meet you, Mr. Gardner.
Otherwise,
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
pleasure.
Anyone else want to step up to the plate with the name game?
This Eric will nod politely. I'm Eric Elder. Pleasure to meet you.
So wait, you're an old person. You have to. Were you
Eldred. Thank you.
Lame.
I'll get it right eventually.
He is lame.
He is name.
His name?
Lame.
Oh, indeed. And what about you? Both of you, actually.
Well, I'm Winrate, and this is Porygon.
Oregon. Oregon. Ah, interesting. A digital facsimile of an otherworldly, authoritative intelligence. Fascinating. She boops Porygon.
Burp.
You may call me Yuki.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
So, I feel like getting absolutely shit-faced and possibly taking one of you to bed. Maybe not you, old guy. I fear I might break you. Winray, on the other hand, maybe.
So, we throwing for tequila tonight?
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Why not? Maybe.
All right. It's not on my budget.
Hey, the way I see it is, the 9 traditions are paying, eh?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, what now?
The 9 traditions, you know that grand overarching body of elderly misfits?
Yes, what does that have to do with this?
Oh, they're paying for the drinks.
Absolutely.
What?
Well, I was going to put this on the Irish government's tab, but whatever. We can go with that.
I'm going to pretend that I did not hear any of that, and please nobody tell me about their illegal activities in my presence again.
I just stole a car and rammed it into a light post.
Nothing I've done is illegal. I'm putting it on a corporate expense card.
I'm pretty sure in my older age, my hearing is going, so I can't remember hearing anything.
Didn't see anything.
The question, Jewel, that Yuki, that you have to ask yourself is: did this all really happen? Is now really what you perceive it to be, or is it just a simple illusion created by your facsimile of your mind interconnecting with the constitutive processes of the neural epileptitude of time?
The age-long question. Not because it's been asked for a long time, but mostly because it takes forever to ask it.
This would be really happening. This is real, and it is really happening, because if it was a dream, you all wouldn't be in it.
She
And
smiles.
no one would be speaking English.
She smiles at you and looks at you and she says, interesting. And what would you do if I said that this is the 3rd time that we've had this conversation?
I assume you were lying. Because I've never met you before.
That you remember. Memory is a fickle thing.
She'll smile, and she'll say, as she walks up the stairs, she will not give any credence to the point whatsoever. She will say, interesting. You said that last time, too.
You need to have more interesting conversations. I probably said that last time too, right?
You are free in character to assume she is lying or telling the truth as to if she has spoken to you before, and you cannot remember because time was reversed. I don't think anyone here possesses the time sphere.
Not
Yet.
it.
Nope.
Time magic's a thing that I don't fuck with.
You have one mage killing you slowly with time, and nobody takes it again. Jeez.
There was a time when Evan wrote an entire plot based around the time sphere, and no mage had it.
No.
I
There is
kind
that
of
one
did.
guy who then died later.
I'll be back in just a moment, guys. I just need to go to the bathroom. Talk amongst yourselves. Assume that she's gone to the restroom.
By the way, Austin, should I assume that at some point during the multiple times our characters have encountered each other, contact information / digital crap was exchanged?
Yes.
Okay, good. That way I can message you with shit.
Absolutely secure contact information was exchanged.
Yerp. Eric's actually going to look at Yuki and just by the way, Yuki still looks like the exquisite sound of jewels, or does she look like a different character at this point, or what's
Nope.
going on?
Still, it's the same person, just a name you've not heard from her before.
In that case, he's actually going to, once they're inside and off the streets, just be like, beg pardon, Yuki, but I do recall you introduced yourself as a different name before. Trying on the
I
new
did.
hat, or?
I have simply removed the mask.
I didn't have enough time to know the mask, but interesting to know.
You may see it again. You may not.
And speaking of masks, Elder, you should really update yours.
Oh?
Your icon's a little weak.
Funny thing is, he's going to kind of, okay, here's the thing. He looks really infirm, as you can tell on the picture, but yeah, he just kind of grins when you say that. Appearances can be deceiving.
You're right. And never mind. He just shrugs. Just shakes his head. Never mind.
So, Winraid, I have a question for you.
I have an answer. Perhaps they match.
I hope so. With your connections,
This what?
with your connections, you
Uh-huh.
would be able to order stuff from overseas, correct?
Eh, depends on where the overseas shipper is from.
Well, from a bookstore, I guess. In Japan?
Where? In Japan.
Physically where? Kyoto or Tokyo. I think that's where the big ones are. Or at least that's where I remember them being.
I have the ability to get things out of Hokkaido, but not Kyoto or Tokyo.
Hokkaido might work.
I can get you a P.O. box in Hokkaido, and if you can get that to get the thing to the P.O. box, then things in Hokkaido could arrive here.
Why not just send them here?
How quick do you want them? And what is the item?
I don't mind waiting, and she looks a little embarrassed and leans in close and whispers, "Manga."
And he just looks over and it's like he holds up his phone, he taps like 3 things on the screen of his smartphone, and he's just like, and it's an online manga database.
Oregon.
If you want manga, it's all there on the internet. All of it. And then manga you didn't even know were there are there. It's magical. It comes from the tubes of data.
Yes, but most of that is pornography. She will say as she takes her seat back at the table.
Also, not an incorrect statement, but I mean, if you
Okay. So assuming I don't want the pornography, I can just go here?
Yes. Here. Do you have a smartphone?
She'll pull her phone out of her pocket and hand it to him. It has 3 icons on it, one for the phone, one for text messaging, and one for emergency contact. That's it.
Is she a technological Luddite?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tap 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 tap, and he is going to get to your internet browser, and he's going to go to an online manga database, and he is going to save the search page as an icon. So all she has to do is tap the search page, or tap the icon, opens up the search page, type in the name of the manga she wants, and she gets it. Manga, they are usually available within 24 hours after first run.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And in a number of languages of choice.
Well, that's fabulous. Yuki will go to the bar, order herself a milk tea, and sit down and fiddle with her phone while she reads.
The good doctor will slam back Sambuca like it's made of water. She'll slam back 3 shots in a row. And on the 3rd shot, she'll say, "You know something? We've been entirely wrong, and it's all really simple."
Oh.
Yeah. So you can kind of see the fact she's starting to get a little bit drunk. And she says, so I've got to ask you, you know, you're all baby mages, with the exception of someone who I think is older than my granddad, but, you know, leave him be. So I've got to
Hey,
ask.
now, I'm not quite that old. Oh, wait. Maybe I am.
Anyway. I've got to ask, so from your perspective, what is the consensus?
He will slam back his second shot of tequila. What do you mean? There are lots of ways to answer that question. There's a lot of ways that question can be taken. This is a horribly phrased search.
All right, a better phrasing might be, why does paradox exist?
It's a balance.
No.
No. I'm agree with Smarty McHotPants here. It's not a balance.
She puts her top hat on Windray's head. It will immediately also resize to fit Winray.
For those who can see AR, plus 10,000 appears over his head.
Yay. She will say, okay, so she drops the shot glass on the ground. She will bend over, pick it up. Okay, so think about it like this. The Dark Ages, the times of Jimmy Goo. Back before there was this consensus that magic did not exist, why did we go from a situation where magic did not exist, from where the belief in magic was strong enough to prevent paradox, to the point where we are now, where it is absolutely categorically denied by consensus reality?
So, one, oppression's a bitch.
Okay.
We crush hopes. Well, I don't say we as in those gathered here or those of the like mind. I say we in the royal, generic humanity sense here. We crush hopes. We crush dreams. We choose not to believe in dragons and in Pokemon because that's safe, it's secure, it's sound and real. And when people get confronted with a polyhedral duck with a strobe light ability to send 5 million kids in Japan into seizures simultaneously, they freak the fuck out.
What if I could tell you it's simpler than that? See, this is kind of what my life's work's been grinding down to. And I think I've cracked it. Which is interesting, because I never thought I would, realistically. But, then again, 1 leads to 2 leads to 3,
You cracked docs.
Kind of.
I mean, I've experienced consensual reality emitters before. Mind changers. Things where, and appropriate crowds where vulgar wasn't vulgar in bits and pieces, but you crack docs as a whole.
Not necessarily. I've cracked the concept of it, in the sense that not necessarily just the concept, but why it is and the nature of humanity. And I know the answer, but not how to implement the answer.
He's going to arch an eyebrow, and it's one of those... He's not hiding it. It's one of those... Depending on what you say will generate his response. This is almost a where angels fear to tread kind of look.
She sluices back her hair and takes another shot, now clearly inebriated. And she says, well, So I've observed it now. Ironically, people like the Tiftani are entirely correct. The fact is that if I could tell with my genetic resplicer, with my genetic resplicer, that I could cure cancer, people would not believe it. Thus, it would become paradoxical. But armed with the power that if people wanted enough to believe it, if there was enough, I'm not going to say hope because that's wrong, but if there was enough,
Latent belief.
not necessarily belief, the desire, if desire could overcome conscious thought, if the id could overcome the sense of possibility, then if we lived in a society, not necessarily lived in a society where desire overruled self, but in a situation, your child is dying of cancer. If you use the gene resplicer and if you hope and if you put enough hope behind it, under my experimentation, the paradoxical effect has waned and waned until it has ceased becoming a readable occurrence. Because hope overpowered other negative emotions, such as doubt. This was, of course, in isolated cases, but still.
I mean, he'll start. He'll switch over to from tequila to rum, and he will go from a shooting, and he won't go to a shooting rum. He'll go to a sipping rum. The prowess of progress is limited by the acceptance of the masses. You establish a law. You establish not even a law, a theory, a practice, and a program, and you implement it, such as Moore's Law. You're familiar, yes?
Okay.
And people won't take on to it. But a year or two down the road, they'll see it. And they'll go, oh. And they go, oh. And then they go, oh. And you program preemptive events. That is a stride the Union takes. But it is a way to shape things. You can I mean, 25 years ago, we had things fractionally as powerful and fractionally as useful as the smartphones in our pockets, sending people into unknown reaches of space. And every year, we progress and we progress and we progress. We step and we step, little by little. Everything gets introduced. And every time it gets introduced, there's a yes, a no, a debate. There's a denial. There's a reluctance. But eventually, it catches on.
You have to understand that how do you say it? How do you say it in English? You have to understand that the human spirit is inherently one of desire, not just desire, no. It is inherently one of exploration and the willingness for discovery of the unknown and the adventure thereof. However, humanity is inherently insular. It is it is fearful, it is cautious of the unknown. And that, in that spectrum, a person can be brave, humanity is timid. And that is the nature of that is the essence of the conundrum that we face. For example, is it morally right? I'm sure that if all of the Archmagi were to combine their science, magic, whatever you call it, into one grand effect, they could alter the consciousness of humanity. They could alter the consensus by force. But is that moral?
But they don't need to do it that way. As he sips his rum. How many... What is the... Austin's having a brain fart. The player's having a brain fart. The word for people who don't count as sleepers, who aren't awakened in certain for specific sex.
Crap.
There's dreamers and sleepwalkers.
I think it's sleepwalkers. Yeah, I was going to say, I think the general catch-all term is sleepwalkers. Yeah.
How many nuanced sleepwalkers are there in the universe? Are on the planet? How many? And how many sleepwalkers does it take in an area to affect consensus? Like I dive into the weirdest places of the digital web on the regular. And sometimes I run into people. And I do the hoodoo that we do so well. Pardon my Hedley Lamar, it's not the best. It just takes enough local presence of the appropriate sleepwalker to manipulate consensus. Now, you operate within a certain set of circumstances appropriately. I operate in different circumstances appropriately. But with the right sleepwalkers, can you and I operate together at the same time, at full function, without the overbearing threat of the fucking Dox hammer? Absolutely. Everybody has the potential to be a sleepwalker with the right belief. Okay, no. Stop. Rewind. Redact. 95% of people have the ability to be a sleepwalker in the right circumstances. Then you get the really programmed types, and they're never gonna break their mold.
I disagree. We are all gods in disguise, and this applies to the slumbering masses as well. The fact that their inner divinities have not yet awoken them to the light of truth and are still sleeping inside them does not mean they're any less divine. Otherwise, we would be able to do as we wished and would not have to exert the force of our will against their collective will.
The question is a matter of the value of free will in consciousness. Think about it like this. Think about the consensus I'm sorry, I don't mean to say this, but I have to dumb this down. Think about the consensus like a river. No, not a river, a pond. A pond is better. A smooth crystal surface. Now think about the paradoxical, the things that defy this pond as ripples on its surface that break the harmony. However, now think about it in the same way as if that pond were to become the ocean, and the ocean's waves were to lap surely against shore. Because people hoped and wished for the impossible. Because the impossible was powered by the desire of humanity, and desire overcame the concept of the consensus. When someone prays out to God and in one of their churches on their hands and knees and says, "Oh Lord, save my child from the cancer that eats him from the inside out," that's what they're doing. They're screaming their hope to anything that will listen.
Hmm.
Sorry,
I'm-
players having a moment due to real life issues.
I understand the analogy.
I should point out that if anyone thinks that he kind of has a smile. If anyone thinks we're all walking out of here tonight with the exact same views, or even likely achieving our own personal consensus on the matter, that person clearly needs to spend more time with Awakened.
No, this, whoa, Mr. Elder or Eldred, it's not about finding, it's not about everyone working in harmony, because that's never going to happen. Have you ever been to a meeting of the representatives of the Nine Mystical Tradition? Holy shit, all they do is yell at each other. Trust me, I have to go and submit funding reports to them every so often. Holy crap. But it's about humanity. For the record, Evan's trying to roleplay drunk, which is really funny. It's about humanity. And the biggest weapon the technocracy has, if you think about it, is that they've weaponized human feeling. They've given humanity in incremental stages exactly what they want, exactly when it can be given. And with each little step, step by step by step by step, they claw and creep their way into the hearts and the consensus. Because they've given them wonder drugs, they've given them renewable energy sources, they've given them food to the starving. So, praise be. The thing is that the traditions haven't. We've let them win the battle for the hearts and minds, and that's why we're losing the war. Because humanity would rather believe in the miracle pill than they would believe in abracadabra, even though if we had conditioned humanity or started to condition humanity, there's no reason it would not be just as viable.
Then I see and understand your perspective. They do enough to keep the masses believing in them so that they are complacent enough not to question. But that is a world that is dying. That is a way of doing things that is dying.
What is death but change? Death is never the end. My oh dear. She'll put down her glass and she'll say, I don't know. I wish I did. I wish I was more in tune, but it's interesting, isn't it? How it is that we disturb the waters and yet don't disturb them at all.
But the things that are now are slowly giving way to the things that will be. We can let them decide what it will look like. Or we can do our job and guide this world to a world that it needs to be, a world where people don't fall through the cracks. And there's really no need for people like me to exist.
There's always going to be cracks for people to fall through because people can't see everything, no matter how hard you guide them, no matter how much you lead, no matter how many invisible walls you erect. People will still fall through cracks. We can do everything to organically grow and shape society, but there's always going to be someone who falls through a crack, slips through the code, who isn't caught and who isn't vetted.
Maybe you're right.
But that's the wonderful thing about humanity. The fact that if they are a code, they're incredibly chaotic and change constantly.
So what is perfect today is not perfect tomorrow.
Perfection is a lie.
Absolutely.
See, I like him. She's going to lean over and kiss Rinway on the cheek.
Anybody who can see AR, one up mushroom.
What, does kissing give you an extra life?
Oh, it's gonna.
Excellent.
Oh, just wait till I get the appropriate spheres.
I should point out that she has appearance 4 with the most interesting appearance spec I've ever written. Her appearance spec for appearance 4 is naughty scientist.
Yeah, no, sold.
Naughty. Damn it.
I was just like, yes. But she'll look down at the others and she'll say, so, I'm in this city for about 3 days before I've got to move on. I have to go to Prague, apparently. Fucking hate Prague. Anyway, so, what's there to do that's actually fun?
What do you consider fun?
I'm sure I can think of a few things.
AR. Exclamation point, question mark. So
She'll randomly reach up and boop the question mark above your head.
marvelous. So we do excel at making the local union's life a hellacious nightmare landscape.
I mean, if at first you don't succeed, gigantic craters.
I like this motto. I have a new motto in life. When in
So
doubt, white out.
a friend of mine once said, "Hey, can you make me a laser?" And my response was, "No, I'm not really good at that." And their response was, "You're not really good at your job, are you?" To which my response was, "But I have this." And she takes out what looks like a rather ordinary gun from some kind of large, you'd assume some kind of block, and she just kind of holds it up. She draws it out of nowhere. Need I add? Literally, she puts her hand to where a holster would be on her belt. There is no holster there, and she draws it, and it appears into her hand. And she'll say, "However, if I shoot you with this," she'll smile. She won't point at anyone, but she'll smile drunkenly, and she says, "That's nice. I shot you 10 minutes ago."
That is horrifying.
It's good for crats. They tend to only think in linear.
That is marvelous.
Unless they're void engineers, because the void engineers.
Yeah, nope. Those. Yeah, they're a special bag of crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, one of the big, I don't know, I call them extra dimensional permutational beings. Some people call them spirits. One of the really big ones of those?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, the whatchamacallit, the Void Engineers had one of them bound up at one of their stations just outside of Jupiter.
Oh no.
Hmm.
What
Then again.
So what happened in the spaceship? Sorry, I'm not really.
I have no idea. I'll have to look that up when I get. I was gonna say get home, but when I get back to. Yes.
There.
Yes. We have a plan.
Are
What?
you suggesting what I think you're suggesting?
That depends. What am I suggesting?
Going to Jupiter.
And
Do you want me to take you to? Okay.
raiding a base to free spirits.
I mean, there'd have to be more than just 4 of you. But in theory, we could go to Jupiter. The Aetherites have a base that orbits Jupiter.
Where
It's
there's
just
a
she
signal, we
points.
survive.
She points out the window and she kind of does a single finger gun and she kind of does boom and she says, "It's just the second star to the right and straight on till morning."
What does she do?
Hmm?
All I heard was she points at the window, does the finger gun, and then I didn't hear the rest.
Oh, she says, "It's just the second star to the right and straight on till morning."
That's marvelous. Do. I mean, it is a little early for Jupiter to rise.
But
So I think it's more there. Points to a slightly brighter star.
Killing up a joke.
You're right. Do you know? I'll kill a joke so we don't die.
She'll smile and she'll say, "Hey, if you guys want to go to Jupiter, we can go to Jupiter, but not now. I think I've had too much to drink to cogitate the correct dimensional potential hypercourse that would be needed."
It could be fun, but yeah, no, I would rather assault the gates of heaven alone than go to Jupiter with a drunk pilot.
You obviously haven't watched enough sci-fi to realize that's the only way to survive.
No,
what you're
science
saying
fiction
is-
was never really my cup of tea.
So what you're saying is, I should do it.
I mean, if you would like to go, certainly.
She draws another gun from her belt that looks suspiciously like a specific gun from a specific TV show
Oh my god.
that may or may not shoot portals.
Oh.
At which point she will, her tongue sticking out of the left side of her mouth, kind of like the kind of, she aims at the floor. Anyone gonna try and stop her?
That would be me, actually.
Jules gonna get up and be ready to grab her if the need arises.
So wait, are we going to Jupiter? Are we not going to Jupiter?
I think that's a decision that should be made sober.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Slams back his sipping rum, sits it on the table, and goes, "Fuck it. We don't get to go to the stars that often. How often do you get to dance among gods?"
Fair point. Shoots the ground.
We're not discussing taking a tour of the Aetheryte facility. If that were the discussion, I'd be more than happy to go take a look. It seems
I think
we're
it's too
discussing
late. I
going
think
into a technocratic facility. That's a little more
I
than
think-
a jaunt.
I think she just shot the ground.
A little bit.
Give me a second. There is a quote I need to pull up because it is perfect for this, and I need some moment.
I've got the perfect quote for it. Oh shit! I think that covers it.
Right, why did you convince a drunk Aetheryte to do drunk Aetheryte things?
Is Alec the only one that's Stone Cold sober?
No, I think everyone else besides the two of them are still comes over.
Oh, okay. I have a strange feeling that Alec is going to wish he was not Stone Cold sober come the morning.
So we get to dance among angel-headed hipsters mourning for the ancient heavenly connection to the starry dynamo and the machinery of the night. I'm fucking in.
On that note, boys and girls, I have to end our scene because I didn't have the continuation written.
Are we all steam frozen now?
I'm not. I
yeah.
don't know.
No,
Sorry?
Stolen, you don't understand. She opened a portal and dumped you all through.
We're not all
no.
standing together.
And she took the entire table with her.
Is a big portal.
At least we have food where we're going.
I like the fact the main concern is the fact, did the Amon Bush survive? Yes. All right. Okay. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This was another scene in Darkness in Dublin where Austin cannot talk to drunk people.
Enabler.